To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
What is it about Disney that makes us happy? Is it the magical whistle as your ticket is scanned at the main gate? Is it the seafaring smell of pirate water? Or is it charting a course to a land where you may never grow up? Whether it's singing a familiar song, watching a movie, or riding your favorite attraction for the 100th time, Disney undeniably has a way to warm our hearts, believe in magic, and bring joy into our lives. This is Main Gate Magic, a podcast where we break down and discuss the infectious happiness, delight, and thrill of all things Disney. No truer words ever said than, whoa, I got a lot of, what is going on here? I just heard a huge echo. I think that was only a temporary thing. Maybe because I have my phone on. Okay. Well, let's just forget that ever happened and welcome everybody to another fun-filled episode of Main Gate Magic. It is Tuesday, the 15th of April. We are almost all the way through. Are we almost all the way through spring? When is summer start this year? Is it the same every year? Do you know?
I think end of May.
End of May? Why did I see that on my calendar recently that summer starts soon? Like it was this month. That must have been something that... Fake
Wait,
media.
now I'm curious. Am I wrong as a human being? I might have associated like getting out of school end of May and that being the beginning of summer.
Okay, so it says that the first day of summer is Friday. Oh, good Lord, it's June 2025. So yeah, it's June 20th, 2025.
Oh,
I should
no
just
way.
shut my mouth and let Google do the talking, but spring is definitely still here. Long
I
story
guess
short.
so.
Yeah. And we are here again and we're doing another wonderful episode. This is actually funny because I think this is episode 15 and today is the 15th. So, hey, happy coincidences, right? There's no mistakes, only happy coincidences.
Magical.
So, yeah, I know. So, welcome back to the show, Leia. How are you doing?
I am doing great. How are you, Jason?
I am burning the candle at both ends with my full-time job, but I am still managing to stay alert, happy, and living my life the best I know how.
Wow, same boat. I'm not joking. Yes,
Right.
I really look forward to Tuesday nights because of that.
I do
Seriously.
too. But
Yeah.
I have to admit that, and like I was telling you this even earlier before we started the show, is that I normally have like a lot of talking points that I actually do bulleted stuff for on the show. So that way, in case we ever run out of things to say, I can kind of go back to the bullet points and I use that for news and everything. I have been so busy lately, I have not even had a chance to do that today. So everything that you are witnessing here today, folks, everything that you're hearing if you're listening is 100% unscripted. So, hey.
Improv.
Yeah,
Woo!
totally improv. And by the number of live viewers right now at a big fat goose egg, it doesn't look like we're going to have much problems. I'm hoping that a lot more downloads will happen on this than anything else. But somebody already gave us a like, so hey, that's one thing.
Thank you, whoever you are.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I have absolutely no updates about Disney news. I promise, folks, that if you look forward to that stuff in our show, it will get better once work life and home life doesn't get as busy as it has been. But for now, we're just going to talk about Disney stuff. And the thing that because I was thinking about this, of course, when I was at my desk yesterday doing my job. I'm like, okay, God, I need to think of a topic for tomorrow's episode. What am I going to say? What are we going to do? Blah, 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 blah. We have no special guest. I was thinking about the introduction video that I play for every single live streaming video episode. And I'm like, the first question that actually pops up on there is, what is it about Disney that makes us happy? We have never had a topic about that before. And I know it's kind of like I know it's kind of like the general theme of the show, but we've never stopped and just been like, so what kind of stuff is just like cool to you about Disney? Now, obviously, I was hoping to have more people in today. Thomas is unfortunately not able to make it today. We hope he gets back next week. But between the two of us, I'm sure that we could spout out quite enough Disney stuff between me and the parks and you and I together with like movies and cartoons and, character interactions and songs and things like that. We could probably go a
Yeah.
million. Yeah, we could have a
You
million
and I
things to talk
literally
about.
both have like, if you have your heart and you have family in there and all this, there's literally a piece of Disney stamped in our heart, like both
Oh
of us.
yeah,
It's just like
there's
such an integral part.
there's a piece of Disney stamped on my upper arm. You can't see it in
Oh,
because I
really?
got my shirt on, but I have a little heart that has legs on the bottom of it with a little Disney hat that's like Mickey Mouse themed. Lisa and I got matching tattoos once a long time ago
Oh,
for
I love
Valentine's
that.
Day. Yeah. I love that I have it now, but I didn't love getting it because I'm super squeamish. I never do well with needles
Me neither.
and especially, one needle like going over my skin 1,000 times to make one little image. It's
Yeah.
not pleasant. I'd
It's
have
worth it
more.
now, but not in the moment, I'm guessing.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
totally. You nailed it. So, well, if somebody we got a couple of people watching now. So, hey guys, whoever just joined, welcome to the show. The topic of
Welcome, guys.
Yeah, is what is it about Disney that makes you happy? Now, don't be shy because you guys know if you're watching, the comment section is open, and I expect people to drop in and at least say hello. But I am going to go ahead and put a running ticker along the bottom that is based on the topic of the show. So, what is it about Disney that makes you happy? In the video, I say, what is it about Disney that makes us happy? Well, I'm more specifically asking our audience. And of course, I'm asking Leia, and I will talk about stuff that makes me happy. But pop it in the comments. Let's get a conversation going and have some fun with this. So,
Well, to start off the bat, I
yeah,
just want to say this. I did a autobiography of Walt Disney when I was a junior or senior in high school. And you know how sometimes an adult, just somebody says an epiphany and it's like a large amount of people feel it, but nobody said it out loud where you're like, oh my gosh, that's so true.
yeah,
Walt pretty much made his cartoons and he said, I'm not just making my cartoons for children, I'm making them for adults because adults are literally just little kids grown up. And he said, I know that my cartoons are going to be just as magical to adults as they are to children. And I think that's one of the most magical parts. He speaks to the inner child in us, and it's magical.
yeah. Who would have thought that a business mogul such as him could actually have a little kid inside of him that pretty much ran everything? But I mean, he still had that adult part of him that is like, okay, I know what I want. I think I know what everybody else wants, but
Yeah.
let's make it into an enterprise.
Yeah, and
you know?
dedicate my life to it. Yeah.
Right, yeah, let's
Mhm.
give it to everybody else. I mean, and in all honesty, that's kind of how I like the reason why I even do this show, because I feel like I mean, granted, we don't work for Disney, we are not affiliated with Disney in any way, we are just, like, super mega fans in our own way,
Yeah,
and I like to share that kind of magic with everybody else because God knows we need more magic in this world every
we
day.
do. Yep.
Yeah. So what specifically about Disney? And I know you talked about your junior project that you wrote about Walt Disney. Is it junior, as you said? Was it a sophomore?
Yes, I remember I was a junior. Yep.
Junior. That's
Yeah.
something that I wish that I would have remembered in high school was actually playing towards the stuff I loved with the things that I didn't like to do, which was of course book reports and homework and
Yeah,
all
right?
sorts of that stuff. Yeah. I hated high school, but it was always because I'd moved up to an area where I wasn't comfortable and familiar. But I feel like if I would have done something more where I pulled memories like that into my everyday school stuff, I might have
Mhm.
actually gotten through it a little bit better. But anyway, back
Yeah.
to the question at hand. So in general, is there a way you can even summarize? Because this is like a loaded question.
Yeah. Okay, so what is it about Disney that makes me so happy?
That makes you happy, like something that is Disney related. And again, we are talking about Disney, Marvel, Pixar, anything under the Disney umbrella that just puts a smile on your face every time without fail.
Ooh, okay.
And it doesn't have to be one specific movie or park or event. You could just say Disney animation. You could just say the songs. You could say the art. I mean, anything.
Yeah. I would say, and this is like literally even when I was like 3 years old to today, the top pinnacle thing that makes me the most happy about Disney is the really kind of mysterious, enchanting parts where I feel like it's speaking to a part of my soul that is very artistic and very whimsical. Like the part where it like spans into Bambi and you see the forest and love is a song, or like when you see Pocahontas standing and the leaves swirling, or Beauty and the Beast, the beginning with the castle and Pinocchio with the star shining. It's just all those magical parts that just oh, it just feels like an extension of my heart. That's what makes Disney so happy for me.
I love that because you're already saying that everything tells a story even before they've even spoken a word, right? Like
Yeah.
even if it's just that panoramic shot of, like you said, Bambi, where they go into the forest, or Snow White or Beauty and the Beast, where you see the I forget what's the name of the camera where they actually have the ability to do that in a
Panoramic.
3D. It's panoramic, but there's oh my gosh, I
Oh,
wish
oh,
Andrew was in the audience. It was that giant camera, and we saw that at the Walt Disney
it's
Museum.
where they have the layers.
Right, exactly.
Oh,
A
I think it starts with a P.
multi-plane camera or something like that is what it was
Hmm.
called. Yeah. But that's that kind of ingenuity and that kind of technology that they created to be able to actually just start telling a story without even having to say one word yet.
Yeah,
That I agree. That is
magical.
100% the magic that Disney brings.
Love it. How about you, Jason? Just off the bat, I know we're gonna go much deeper, but
Oh, I know we will. I think overall, it's just I mean, I know that I said, what is it about Disney that makes us happy? But I think I'm just going to kind of go ahead and give the easy answer that it is Disney that makes me happy. And I'll explain my reasoning because there's a multitude of things. It's hard to pick one.
yeah,
And I know that I said I could generalize and everything like that, but um, even in the video, and I took a long time preparing the script for that opening video.
so
They
good.
undeniably have a way to warm our hearts, make us believe in magic, and put a smile on our face, right? So it's like they
Yeah,
know the formula, they get it right. I'd say at least 85-90% of the time with almost everything that I've seen with them, there's almost always something in
almost
there that's
always.
going to make me go like, aw, or it's going to touch my heart in one way or another, whether it's even if it means they've already killed off a character like within the first 5 minutes of a movie. Thank you, Disney, for killing my soul. But
Oh,
but that's what speaks. I mean, even though that could be looked at as a negative, they know how to reach how to have that human connection with you, and then just
yeah,
bring you back from that, and then make everything happy and joyous, and find the magic even in something as low as death.
yeah, that's true.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
like
really psychological, I think.
no, no, I love it. Like it reminds me of the one that I just rushed to in my head was when Mufasa dies and Simba's devastated. But then when he speaks to Rafiki and he says, I only see my reflection, he's like, look harder. And it's
Yeah,
like then Mufasa come, oh, I'm getting goosebumps. It's like even though we might not see our father come in from the sky, it's like you do feel that like closeness to those who pass away. And they just, in an artistic way, they bring a magic and warmth to your heart.
this is going to be a very spiritual episode, folks, so you better buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Yeah,
Um,
put your seatbelt on, folks.
Yeah, totally. And that is another thing too, is like, of course, the actors that they choose for these roles. Like you mentioned, like, because you talk about that scene where Simba looks into the reflection pool and he's like, no, look harder. And then he looks, and then
Oh,
all of a sudden, Mufasa's voice like comes from the heavens, and
mhm.
just, yeah, I mean, even just thinking about that scene, knowing how powerful it is, and having him reconnect with his father after however many years it had been, and he had pretty much just thrown away being, ever being king, and just doing no worries and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Having him pull himself down from that just like fancy free philosophy of life to being like, okay, I get it now. I need to take more responsibility and, help out my family that I left behind years ago. But it's not because, he's like, well, I killed my father. It was my fault. He still found the courage to do it even through one character and found out even later that Scar was the one that killed his dad, but he still
Yeah.
went back. So that to me is like, wow.
You're right, Jason. That took so much courage on his part. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I
So
love that.
that kind of storytelling is, I can't imagine it's easy to come by. Now, I know that you are a writer. I'm just going to say you're a
Yeah.
writer.
Yeah.
Among the many talents that you have, writing is definitely one of them.
Yeah, I
I
love to
can't
write.
imagine. Yeah, and I've tried. I can think of a story. I can think of a beginning and a middle and an end. And I actually have, and I've presented those story ideas to our folks at Adventurous Ideas.
No way,
And
Jason.
oh yeah, there's a couple of them, but the thing is that I don't have that gift of being able to flesh them out like Disney does.
Mhm.
Where they find those moments and those characters, and how they connect or even disconnect and maybe even reconnect.
Yeah.
How difficult do you find it as a writer to be able to do that with the stories that you make?
Oh, that's a really good question. Okay, so Lion King is a perfect story. I know exactly how they did it, and I know it's kind of based off of Hamlet, so one could say like, "Oh, that was easy for them because they had a reference," but let's just say they didn't. Every story that you watch, it has to be seen from a human eye, and you have to resonate with your character, and they have to have a problem pretty early off the bat. So, Simba goes through a trauma and he forgets himself. He numbs himself and he distracts himself with very surface level enjoyments. And that's something that's very relatable to people. So, as the writers, it's like, what's going to bring him back? What brought the trauma? And so it's
Mhm.
like, let's put some fun little Disney moments in here with Timon and Pumbaa, but just show like when Nala comes and he's irritable with her, it's because he hasn't gotten to the crux of where his trauma started.
Yeah.
And that's where the healing with Mufasa comes. And that's what good story writers do is you pretty much have show their problem in the beginning, make it a little bit fun in the middle, then have them be hit with a revelation, make it really suspenseful, and then they find a healing at the end. And then you just fill in the details in the middle.
Now, I know another good way of story writing that I happen to see in a lot of movies in general. It doesn't have to be necessarily Disney, but they go this formula as well.
Yeah.
It's like a roller coaster. Like you said, you start off at, at whatever point you want to start it off at, because Disney sometimes does it at a low. Other
Mhm.
times they do it at a high. Other times they do it kind of right in the middle. But like you said, within a certain amount of time, they get into like whatever the problem is, right? Like
Yeah.
what is like the danger, or what is the situation that these characters have to address.
Mm.
And you know, they start fleshing it out, and things will be a little whimsical or maybe even sometimes a little dangerous, but it'll get on a high. And then, right about when you feel like you're about, like, everything's going to be okay, things kind of taper off again and they pull
About
you back
three-fourths of the
down.
way through the movie. Yeah, it always has that
Yeah,
crisis moment.
exactly. And then they kind of ramp you back up, and if they really want to mess with you, they'll take you back down again, like so low to the point where you're like, "Oh my gosh, the bad guy's going to win."
Yeah.
But then we always
Hard.
know that, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then we always know that the hero comes and inevitably saves the day.
Yeah.
And there's always those kind of morals that are done. But I mean, what I love is the journey all along. And that's what I love
Me
about
too.
a good movie and a good story in general. And I think that's one of the reasons why I like Disney, is because they kind of, like I said, they know that formula. They know how to pull you in, make you like, you get to, like, you're kind of like in the middle at one point, and then you're like, oh yay, and then you're going to go down, like, oh no, and then you're like,
And
oh
then you're in
yay, and
suspense.
then yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
exact. Jason, this was so cool. Okay, so I was working, oh my God, I think like 15 years ago. This was a while ago. And I had this epiphany about Disney movies. And oh, I'm excited to share it with you and people who are listening.
yeah.
Okay,
We have a few actually, and there's a comment we'll address in just a moment, so go ahead.
okay. Oh my God, this was one of the coolest things. And I just like tipped my hat to Disney. I'm like, you geniuses. Because it doesn't feel redundant when they do it. Okay, in every cartoon classically animated Disney movie that has songs in it. The only one I can think of that doesn't really have this is The Jungle Book. Brush that aside. Every
Okay.
single time a the main character is going to sing a song that expresses their desire and their want, and almost immediately they're going to be presented with the road to their solution. So Cinderella, a
I was
dream
gonna
is a
say, give me an
wish your
example.
heart makes. And then
Uh-huh.
all of a sudden, oh, that clock, old killjoy. And they get the ball, the letter to the ball. Belle, I want adventure in the great wide somewhere.
Right.
And then Philippe comes running. Where's Papa? She has to rush to the castle. Hercules, I can go the distance. One of my favorite songs.
Oh
He
yeah.
sings the song. He gets home. His mom hands him the medallion, says, "You're actually a god. Go figure out your journey." I mean, Aladdin, he sings his song Riff Raff Street Rat. And then he says, "One day, Abu, things are going to change." And then
Right. And that's when they start changing. Right.
every single time, watch it, folks.
Wow. Great examples. I love that.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. I mean, those are perfect examples. Like you said, it probably doesn't happen in every single movie where there's songs that kind of take you down that road and then they start finding their path. But I mean,
Almost every
you're
time.
right. I
Yep.
think so, especially during the Disney Renaissance, because that's when they created. That's when like the Sherman Brothers they wrote all those great songs and everything. I mean, they
Yes.
knew how to tell a story with a song. Now,
Yes.
the
Oh,
songs nowadays are great, but it's they don't I
yep.
don't feel like they don't quite tell the story as well as they used to. They're still great in their own way, though. I think it's just because it's
Renaissance
generational.
period. Yeah,
Yeah.
ooh, I have two more. Just two more. Ariel, her classic song on the rock. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I know something's starting right now. And that's when Ursula sees her and makes it possible for her to see the prince. And then Pocahontas, just around the river bend, "Do I choose the smoothest course?" And then the ship comes and John Smith is on it. Just almost
Wow.
every
Oh yeah.
time.
Good ones.
Mhm.
I
Yep.
love it. I love it. All right, so we actually did get one reaction so far from our comment about what is it about Disney that makes you happy.
Ooh.
And our reviewer, Signs of Amusement, I'll have to check out that channel on YouTube. What makes me happy when I go to Disneyland is that I can enjoy myself without even going on any attractions. I love where this is going already because I know exactly what they mean. I go hang out with friends, people watch, and enjoy the latest food offerings. Amen, brother or sister, whichever you are, however you identify, that is a great thing to say. And here's what I mean, and Leia, because I know you haven't been to the parks before, but
Yeah.
I want to elaborate on that because of the fact that in my day when I was younger, the rides were everything. The rides, the shows, all the characters walking up and down the street and everything. It's like you had to see something every time in order to be entertained. And when I
Yeah.
had the energy as a child or as a young teen or whatever, I would not. I'd be one of those ones that would get busted for saying, like no running in the park. I had to run from one attraction to another. It was necessary.
You on
And
high. Yeah.
yeah, I just because you got to fit it all in one day at some point, right? But
Yeah.
nowadays, being a little bit wiser, a little bit grayer,
Mhm.
I can appreciate Disney, especially Disneyland, for more than just the attractions, more than just a simple ride that I've been on like 1,000 times. I can look at the architecture. I can look at the gardening that happens around the park. The fact that they keep everything fresh and that nothing is ever really dead in the park. They always have gardeners completely refreshing. I can appreciate the fact that in Tomorrowland, almost all of the vegetation that you see planted around that area is something that's edible.
Wow.
Whether it's like a lettuce or some type of vegetable, like a pepper plant or something like that.
Yeah.
It's just one of the many fun facts that I have in my brain. But it's those kind of little things that I can appreciate more nowadays than I used to be able to appreciate back then. And I know exactly what they mean about people watching because sometimes that is entertainment in itself, especially if you're doing a solo trip and you're just tired of running around. You just sit down and look at other people and you're like, I am so glad I'm here by myself. Because sometimes going with the crowd, it is not a great idea, especially considering sometimes the people in the crowd that you're with, there can be disagreements, but I don't know.
Sure.
It depends on the people that you go with as well. So
Jason, so is it like when you're there, sometimes places just can bring you up or down? Is there like a spirit of happiness there just because it is Disneyland? Like,
100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
I
and
can
I've said
imagine.
I know I try to stay very positive on this show, but I have said this out in public and to my friends and family all the time when they ask me opinions about what would you recommend when you go to Disneyland? Because I've heard that it's just miserable sometimes. And I said, well, the only thing that's going to make it miserable is people. That's it. If
Yeah,
you have a negative experience with somebody else in the park that is just having a bad day and you let it affect you, you're probably not going to have the best time. If
yeah,
you're if you hate crowds, if you don't like bumping into people, if you don't like, standing elbow to elbow with them in a line while you're waiting for a ride, like whether it's a half an hour line or God forbid like an hour and a half to go on something that's brand new, maybe even longer because God knows I've stayed in lines longer than that, then
yeah.
you may not have a good time and I wouldn't recommend it for you, I mean, you could try it once and see if you like it, but
Yeah,
if you're not the kind of person that interacts well with people or others, you may want to think a little bit harder about, going for at all because eventually those kind of people end up becoming the ones that if you do bump into them by accident tend to take it a little more personally and might ruin your day. So that's
yeah.
the best way I know how to say it.
It sounds like perspective to me because, like, if you go in with your perspective on the other side, if you're waiting in a line for an hour, you're going to be noticing the fine architectural details and appreciating the well kept gardens and, just looking for the grass being greener on the other side. So I think it depends what you
Yeah.
focus on.
Well, and there's even so many other things too. Like you walk around and it's not just you don't see just like Disney characters interacting with people. Those are fun to watch too because there are magical moments that happen with kids and adults alike when they
Yeah.
meet their characters and they buy the autograph book from the store and they have the character sign it and everything because
Mhm.
that's a Disneyland thing for sure. It's a Disney park thing in general.
I've heard
But
that. Yeah.
when you, when you stop and look around, and you got to look up, you even have to look down because one of my favorite things when I go to the park is seeing all the ducks that are everywhere.
Oh, I
Real,
love
real
ducks.
life ducks. There are families of ducks everywhere in the park and they just walk around. They head from one grassy area to the next. Then they
Oh,
might find their way over to the rivers of America, or they might fly over to the area where the boat attraction used to be in like the Fantasyland area near the Matterhorn. You could just sit there
yeah.
and like have a churro and watch them interact with, whatever food people might be feeding them that they're not supposed
Right.
to be feeding them, and
Yeah.
just enjoy that for a moment.
I love
So
that.
yeah,
That's so
it's
Disney to have ducks.
I know. Well, I don't think that they like put them there. I think that they just
They just
flock
migrate.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like in my next life, I want to come back as a duck and I
Yeah.
want to be one of the ducks at Disneyland. I think that would be awesome.
I love that. I was with one of my best friends walking through a antique store recently, and she said something that just cracked me up. There was this like ornament that was a duck, and she's like, "Oh, I've always had the deepest affection for billed animals."
Oh my
Like,
god.
she's like platypuses and ducks.
That that is oddly specific. But,
Yeah,
everybody's got their thing.
I loved it so much.
What's crazy, and I'm going to get to this comment
Shout
that I
out to
have on the
Megan.
screen in
Yep.
just a moment, but I still like to draw every once in a while whenever I get the inspiration and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I tried drawing Donald Duck and Daffy Duck, and drawing the bill of an animated duck or even just a real duck. It's not easy to me because there's so many
It's not
curves and
easy.
you have to make sure that those curves kind of match in the right areas and disappear in the right spot so that you get that right dimension and everything like that.
Yeah, totally
But
get
I
it.
still love trying to do it. It's so odd, but
Yes.
whatever. So Expedition Steve put a comment in there. Thanks for joining, Expedition Steve. And by the way, Signs of Amusement, thanks for joining us as well, because I don't think I've seen your names on here before. Welcome to the show. Thank you
Welcome,
so
guys.
much for watching
Yeah.
live. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys tell your friends if you're having a good time. So Expedition Steve, and has a great little logo too on his channel. I'm gonna have to check your channel out too. Walking
Yeah.
down Main Street, hearing the music, the vehicles, and the Disneyland Railroad. Absolutely. So Disney Expedition Steve. So the reason that we call this show Main Gate Magic is because when you walk into the gates of Disneyland and you just kind of take it all in, one of the first things that you see, of course, is the Main Street Railroad Station. And if you're lucky enough, you might actually hear the announcer, saying that the next train is coming in, and it's a very specific announcement that goes, "Your attention, please. The Disneyland Limited is now arriving with trips around Disneyland Park, stopping at New Orleans Square, Mickey's Toontown, and Tomorrowland." And then there's a few other things, but I just love. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Thank you for the sound effect. That's
You're
great.
welcome.
So that's one of the things that I really love, is because it's one of the first things that you actually see once you step through the gates. Besides the big Mickey floral, but right above the Mickey floral is where the Main Street station is, and the tracks go right over the two tunnels that you go right into the park. So very iconic. Love it as well. Thank you for bringing up that magic moment, because it is definitely something that is to be remembered when you go.
Love
And
that.
hello, Odie Braden. I'm here.
Hi, Odie.
Better late than never. Glad to see you, Dad. Happy to have you on the show as always. We have a few more people watching now. I know, we're up to 6. A whole 6. We have half a dozen. That's
amazing.
I know. That's more eggs than I have in my fridge right now.
Yeah,
and we just got 7. So hey guys, if you are joining us for the very
love
first
7.
time, yeah, welcome. It's a lucky number.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. The topic of today is part of the introduction video where I say, what is it about Disney that makes us happy? And today we're asking, what is it about Disney that makes you happy? Tell us in the comments section. Let us know your thoughts, and we'll open it up for discussion. We love new comments, new opinions, ideas that maybe we've never heard of before. I mean, we've heard people watching, looking at the architecture. So far, I haven't seen anybody talking about rides as much, which is fine. But we're not just talking about Disneyland either. Leia and I have been talking about Disney stories and how they connect to our souls. And we got a little spiritual in the beginning, and it was, yeah. So it comes down to more than just Disneyland. There's so many other things. Like I'm a big Marvel fan. I love Marvel stuff. And
I like a lot of Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Marvel movies are ones that I can kind of go back to a lot. Like by default, I know I can click on like the first Iron Man and be like, this is what started off the MCU for me. That was the
my
very
God,
first
almost like 20
movie.
years ago now. Isn't that crazy?
I know.
Or 15. Yeah. Like,
So
I don't watch a lot of the new Marvel movies. I did get burned out, but the original ones, and even up until like 5 years ago, I had a soft place in my heart for them. It's like
good.
the first Avengers is one of the most incredible movies, period. Like the New York fighting scene of the epic, like they come together for the first time.
The hero moment, the hero shot.
The hero
When you
shot,
see
the circling.
when you see like the circling camera around like Hulk and Captain America and Black Widow and everybody, and you're like, oh my God, it's yeah. But nothing is more iconic and magical or makes me happy in the Marvel universe than, of course, watching. I need to make sure I say it right, because it's the last two-parter of the Avengers. It was Endgame. It was Endgame, not Infinity Wars. Infinity Wars was like the first half of the last of the Avengers movies, but the Endgame movie,
Endgame, yes,
where
epic.
where Thanos got his, basically,
Mhm.
and they snapped everybody back. But my favorite, of course, and it's a moment that I still get like, oh, it's coming, is when not only when Captain America says Avengers Assemble, finally, that is a fantastic moment. But the fact that they gave him Thor's hammer at the very end, and he had his shield,
that was so
and
cool.
Thor's, and he's all, and he grabs it, and he's like,
everyone's
Avengers, I know, he's like, he's gonna say it.
Like he's worthy to hold it, and of course Captain America's worthy. I mean, he's pure as they come.
Yeah, and we saw he was we knew that he was possibly worthy, because I think I need to make sure I get this right. Ultron, Age of Ultron. They're sitting around, they're having a party at the Avengers Tower, I think is what it was called.
Oh my gosh, I remember that. Yes.
And they're joking about Thor's hammer. They're making jokes about like, Oh, so if you put the hammer down in an elevator and the elevator still goes up, does that mean that the elevator's worthy? They're making wisecracks about
Yeah.
that, and then the competition starts as far as who can actually pick up Thor's hammer, because they're like, it's a trick, right? It's like a magnet or something like that, or a button
Yeah.
you push. And then Steve Rogers comes up and he grabs it and he gives it his first yank, and you see it move, but so slightly. And you're
Yes.
like, and you can see Thor's reaction behind him going like, uh-oh.
I
You
remember
know,
that, and when it budged a little bit, it's like you couldn't by accident do that. There was no way anybody can, do that unless
right.
they're yes.
And then
Jason,
and then
yeah.
Thor's like, "Oh, thank God. Okay, so you can't lift it. It's fine. I am the only one worthy." He goes back to his usual cocky self. So,
And he gets all, yeah. Jason, I have a fun question. And anybody in
yeah.
the comments, if they want to say theirs too. Okay, so we love voice acting. If you could pick your top two Disney movies that if you could have been that character, and not that you would have to sound like them, you could have done your own take on the character, who would be like your top two Disney characters you wish you could have voiced for the movie?
Oh, that
Yeah.
is a good one. So are you asking me that first, and then we'll see if other people ask the same thing?
If they, whatever characters they choose, or if their top character they would have liked to be voice. I think I already have my immediate one.
Okay, what is it?
Okay, and I nod off to Irene Bedard because she would knock it out of the park, but
Of
Pocahontas.
course.
Pocahontas
Okay,
has my
yeah.
heart. I'm thinking
Yeah.
on my second one, though, because that one was
Okay.
so obvious.
Well, while you're doing that, we've got a few new people joining the chat. Mr. Jerry Cornell is in the house. He says, "Hi,
Barry,
y'all."
hi.
What's funny is that he says, "Hi, y'all," but when I say it, I was like, "Hi, y'all." That is definitely not what he sounds like,
No, it's not.
but it's
Well,
it's how he's
howdy.
emoting himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jerry says, "I actually enjoy sitting down watching people enjoy the park." Ah, I love that too. It's a
Oh,
joy to see kids running from one attraction to the next, much like I did in my youth. Yeah,
mm,
I'm not sure if you heard, Jerry, but I was talking about the same thing. Like, I would run from one attraction to the other. Now I'm that old curmudgeon with that, gets to the rope drop and I see everybody running to the first ride, and I'm like, what are you running for? Stop running. And of course, all the park, the staff members, or not the staff members, the cast members, shame on me, bad podcast host. Um,
mm.
they're like, please walk to your next attraction. Do not run. But it's excitement, and I get why people like doing it. And I'm totally with you, Jerry. I love people watching as well. And look who else is watching today. Patricia is in
Trisha,
the
hi.
house.
Number
And
one fan.
she says that is such an awesome scene. And I'm sorry, Patricia, I think you may have said that when we were talking about the Avengers. And
That would
yeah,
make sense.
it is pretty awesome. I agree. Um, Patricia, we were talking about writers earlier. Patricia is a writer as well.
Oh, yes.
She is the author of a few different books, but the one that I'm mostly excited about is Extinguished Worlds. It's one of the audio shows that we're going to be doing on Adventurous Ideas in the very near
Yeah.
future. That's going to be a lot of fun, mostly because I'm in it. That's why it's going to be fun. And then she says, of course, also, hi.
Hello.
And Jerry even is saying, hi, Patricia, because we're all one big family. All right, so okay, I'm not sure why my dad said this, but he just wrote the word tramp. I am not a
Oh,
tramp.
he would want to be Tramp if he could be
Oh,
a
he wants
voiceover
to voice
actor.
Tramp. Yeah, see,
Yes,
I gotta
that's
be
a
more
good
on
one,
top of the
Odie.
comments. Yeah.
Love that.
That is a pretty good. And I could see
Yeah.
you doing a voice of Tramp, Dad. That's pretty awesome. I like that answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Signs of Amusement says Cusco from the most
Oh
underrated
my gosh.
movie. Okay,
That movie
so
has my heart.
yes, Signs of Amusement. Um, Emperor's New Groove is something that Leia and I have a lot in common about, because
Oh yeah.
one of the ways that we actually met is, and for those who have heard the story before, I'm sorry, but you're going to hear it again. We met
So
on
sit
an app.
down.
Yeah. So sit down. Don't get me started, Leia. You know I'm going to start going through it all.
You're getting your 3 wishes.
That's right. So Smule Sing is a app that you can actually do free karaoke on. It's a lot of fun.
So
But
fun.
there are also some very creative people who will actually take audio files from Disney movies, remove the actors' voices, and put it on there as well. So that way you can actually emote the actual characters and replicate that scene from Pocahontas, from The Emperor's New Groove. And that
Yeah.
is one of the things that Leia and I have done very well in the past. She always does Yzma, and I always do Kronk. Yeah,
Are you talking to that squirrel?
I was versed in all the woodland creatures. Please continue.
I love it. I remember when I was listening to everybody's, like, most people on Smule are decent, but when I heard yours, I'm like, wait, does he actually sound like Crunk? And I'm like, okay, we're friends. I was like, it's destined.
It's funny when you say Kronk really fast, it sounds like Crunk.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
let's get Kronk.
Crunk.
Well, I love the fact that Kronk actually has his own theme music, and he's like,
Oh God, now he has his own theme song.
I know.
Oh,
Who is this guy? Yeah, he's up against the wall like. Yeah.
Dumb and tone deaf. I'm so glad I wasn't awake for all
Oh
this.
my God, that's so awesome. Yeah, David Spade was a perfect person to play the Emperor, of course. Emperor Cusco is a great
Choice,
character
signs
in
of
itself.
amusement.
Yep.
Jason, what's yours? Who would you voice?
Well, Kronk is an obvious choice because,
Kronk, yep.
it's just what I like to talk, sometimes Patrick Warburton, he's a little easy. He kind of comes easy for me, it's like, yeah.
Perfect. Oh my God.
And of course, when I start trailing off like that, it's a perfect Kronk because, he's big, dumb, and tone deaf, right? It's
Yes.
exactly what you just said.
Exactly.
And I'll think of a second one later. Probably Genie,
Yeah.
and I think I've answered that before on prior episodes of our
Genie would
podcast.
be such a fun one.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you were just saying it like, excuse me? Did you rub my lamp? Did you bring me here? And all of a sudden you're walking out on me? I don't think so. You're getting your wishes, so sit down. I mean, who wouldn't want to do a role like that, right?
exactly. Oh my goodness.
My apologies for anybody who's actually listening and I just blasted their eardrums out. So I probably should have done a warning. Expedition Steve says Baloo and Buzz. Those are great choices. I like those.
It's so good. Oh, those ones
Yeah.
are great. And it's a good contrast. Like they're very different from each other.
Yeah, completely. And well, actually, Buzz is, let's kind of go back on that because one of the things that Patrick Warburton has done before is the voice of Buzz Lightyear, but I think he did it for
Really?
the animated. I think he did it for the animated series. There was like an animated series for Buzz Lightyear, and it was like a literal 2D animation. Yeah, so I think he's done that before. And Baloo has kind of that Patrick Warburton tone, it's like really relaxed and it's down here and it's like
down, yeah, just very different personalities, but yeah,
right.
similar voices.
Exactly.
I love doing the Baloo. I used to have it memorized when he sings with King Louie. The days, the bones, about Bobby, Hubba-doo-dee with the reap banaza, Habba-dabba-do with the labazini, Wallabab-boolabab-zilla-tootie.
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
Disney magic.
That is insane. I know exactly what you did, but I didn't know anybody actually ever had that memorized except for maybe the original actor who is, I think, dead now. Wasn't that Scatman Crothers that played the voice of King Louie?
Yes, he was super famous. Oh, I love that. It's so good.
Yeah, that's a good one. Definitely a good one. Signs of Amusement says Shrek Blu-ray. And Shrek is not a Disney, but thank you. It's okay. I know the reason why you're putting that on there. Shrek Blu-ray had a feature called Revoice, which you could voice some of the clips. No kidding.
Oh, that's awesome.
I wonder if I have Shrek and Blu-ray. I might need to check that out. Thanks for the tip, Signs of Amusement. Because along with being a writer, Leia is also a voice actor. I am also a voice actor. And that's kind of how we met. And we love doing stuff like that. So it's a really cool thing to be able to just overlay your voice. And Shrek's another one that I love to voice on Smule Sing as well. That was another fun one to do.
Yes.
Odie says, sorry I was late. It's baseball season and Oak Island. I get sidetracked. What is Oak Island? I'm not sure. You'll have to talk about that later.
Wonder if it's a show.
I don't know. Maybe. It sounds kind of like a show, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe like a Survivor type show. Who knows? Jerry, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Like, oh yeah, the poison to kill Cusco. Wait, no. Okay, if
Yes,
I'm gonna do
that
this, I need to do it
poison.
right. Yes. Oh right, the poison to kill Cusco, the poison chosen especially to kill Cusco. Cusco's poison. That poison.
Give me that vial.
Oh right, yeah. So yeah, he
Yeah,
knows that I do that, and he says that to me quite a bit. I had to piece it together. So,
love it.
uh, Odie says, "Buck Wild." Let's see if you get that one. Buck Wild. Well, that's the great thing about doing a podcast in front of a computer, Dad, is I got the power of Google in front of me. Although I don't know if it's going to tell me. Oh, Buck Wild from Ice Age. I'm guessing that's who he's talking about.
Oh, I see. That's such a great movie.
I think he was like, what was he, like a little, like a ferret or a weasel or something like that, and he had sort of an Australian accent, and he had an eye patch.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
I love it when he goes, and back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. He's swinging. You
Well,
know
that's
something?
DreamWorks, Dad, not Disney. We were talking about Disney. Shame on you for bringing in DreamWorks on this, but it's okay.
Kiss.
Good answer. No
You
wrong
know
answer.
something else that I find makes Disney very magical? It's like one of the top tiers to me is that,
Pixie dust?
yes,
Sorry, go ahead,
as,
please.
as
Please continue.
humans, great timing. Oh my God. No, as humans, we all are dreamers. Like, no matter who you are, whether you have it in high doses or low, and kind of through life, we're taught through society to put our dreams on the back burner or that's not possible. And in Disney movies, every character is a dreamer and they find a way to make their dreams come true. And it kind of teaches us that why not be a dreamer? Maybe you can't find it in your job, or maybe you can, but you can find those moments of magic in your life and escape. I mean, Disney is such a beautiful escape and a motivator that why can't your dreams come true in some ways or always?
Absolutely. Words to live by, folks. Take heed. Listen to the advice of Miss Leia. You will be happier for it. Trust me. Because honestly, I mean, in all seriousness, that's great advice to go by. Because I mean, you don't have to be religious or political or anything like that.
No,
They're just good words to live by. And yeah, if you see the magic and stuff that you look at every day, life tends to be a little bit better. I know it's not the
it
answer
does.
to everything, but it definitely helps. It helps me anyway.
Yeah.
So okay, so we're going to go back to Buck Wild because Dad actually answered. He says that he's a pirate weasel. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
and he says they did a Disney movie about him. Got ya? They did?
No way. What?
Okay, I'll have to look that up, but not right now. We'll look it up a little bit later. The Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild. Disney
Whoa.
did that. Yeah, I'll have to look that. That's interesting because that's a character
Yeah.
from DreamWorks, and to the best of my knowledge, Disney does not own them. So
I didn't know that
yeah,
they did integrations like that. Like, I've never heard of that before.
me neither. And Patricia, on your comment about the magic there, she says, "Love that, Leia. That is
Thank
awesome."
you,
Yeah.
Patricia.
Okay, so let's see. Jerry also says that Chris Evans also voiced Buzz. That's right, because he was the voice of Buzz
Yeah.
Lightyear in the movie Lightyear. It was just titled Lightyear, the 3D animated one that they did about like the real Buzz Lightyear. Like, there's not a real
Yeah.
Buzz Lightyear. There was a real Buzz Lightyear. He was the one that voiced it. Yeah, love Chris Evans. He is such a diverse actor.
And such a
Definitely
nice
brings.
guy.
He seems like it, right?
Yeah,
Definitely
seems
seems
like it.
like it.
Yeah.
He's done one of his first superhero roles, and I don't know if if any of you guys remember this, but he also played Johnny from the original Fantastic Four movie. Johnny
Absolutely.
Flame, I think. Johnny Flame? Is that what they called him in the Fantastic Four?
I think so. Yeah.
So played it in the Fantastic Four movie, came back for Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer, and is, of course, now ingrained in the Marvel Universe, not only because of those two movies, but also because of one of my guilty pleasures, Deadpool 3, which I absolutely love. I don't think it has anything to do with magic, although if you ask DP, he might actually tell you there is magic involved. It's just a different kind of pixie dust. We're gonna leave it at that because this is more of a family friendly show.
Yeah.
But yeah, he came back for Deadpool 3 as Johnny, and he 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 did not have a happy ending in that movie. Unfortunately,
Jason, it was hysterical. My favorite part of that whole movie was actually at the end when Deadpool says, "I just want to clear my name, and I'm going to show you the video proof that he said
Yes.
exactly what I said."
That scene was brilliant.
So
And
I just could not stop laughing.
yeah, we can't repeat it here because it is
Nope.
definitely not family friendly. There are many
Beep.
there are many beep-worthy words used in that entire scene, but he pulled that. I mean, can you imagine how long he practiced to say all that stuff in one take?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, without laughing. Yeah.
Right. And with such a serious face, and the comedic delivery on it was just absolutely perfect. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely one of my favorite end scene credits. If you guys ever see Deadpool 3, wait till the end. It's amazing.
Yep.
Let's see. Jerry says Disney and Warner Brothers both animated Witch Hazel. That's right, because what was it?
I don't know that one.
There's a documentary that I am narrating or have narrated for him that has that information in there. So yeah, I
Oh.
remember that. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. So more information on the Ice Age thing from Odie Braden. Odie Braden says originally planned to be a television series. The Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild was redeveloped. This sounds like it was copy and pasted. So I'm going to read it in my narrator voice.
Ooh, yeah. Go.
Originally, wait, I'm saying if we're going to do the narrator voice, we got to cleanse the palate here.
Mhm.
And this is what I do for my side hustle, folks. This is the environment, and this is the voice that I'll use. All right, here we go.
That's like our.
Originally planned to be a television series, The Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild was redeveloped into a feature-length film. Produced by 20th Century Animation and released under the Walt Disney Pictures banner, it was released on January 28, 2022 as a Disney Plus original film. Ta-da! Yeah, that was definitely copy and pasted because I think that little one that's in brackets there is
Yeah.
from like Wikipedia or something like that. But I appreciate the
I'll have
information.
to watch that.
Yeah, I know. I didn't even know that they kind of, cross-platform
Yeah.
there. That's pretty awesome.
Wait, Jason, you said ta-da. I kid you not. You know who the other character that I think I would love to do, so different from Pocahontas? I would love to be the lady from Monsters, Inc. Guess who? Ah!
You didn't fill out your paperwork with
Yeah.
me. Wouldn't
Yeah.
it be nice if that just all blew away?
Yes, oh my god. Boogly Bear.
Yeah, that is a lot
The
of
other
fun.
one I was gonna say is Stacy or Roxanne from a Goofy movie. I love those characters
Oh,
also.
yeah.
First of all, I just want to say like yay to the entire governing body.
That's definitely within your wheelhouse of animated characters to voice for sure. You've got that high-pitched range that I've heard you do before, even from like what was it, the Powerpuff Girls? I think you can get really up there too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I mean I've heard it before, and I don't want you to break my glasses or any computer monitors.
I'll do it in another episode.
Right. But I thought of another one as far as voices to act that I would actually love to have a
Ooh,
crack
which one?
at. Edna Mode from The Incredibles.
Oh my god, I love her. Do
Yes.
a little bit if you can.
Edna Mode, yes, darling. I went to a fashion show in Milan, don't you know? Supermodels, poofy lips, no, I can't remember the lines. But, it was actually, I think Edna was actually voiced by, Brad Bird, the guy who actually directed The Incredibles.
No, wait, I thought it was a man that was the voice actor, so that makes sense.
Yeah, let me take a look. Edna Mode. I mean, I'm kind of going back.
Do you remember?
Hell yeah.
Something?
Do you remember Thunderhead?
Yeah. Good guy, nice for kids. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, and she's actually a character that I have done a few times in Smule Sing, so that's another one of my
Oh,
go-tos.
I love that.
Definitely.
I know that we've done the one, Jason, of where's my super suit?
Oh, that's right, yeah. Would you tell me where my super suit is, woman?
Yeah.
The public is in danger.
My evening is in danger.
And the look on his face like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Not now.
But
Who voiced Edna Mode? Yeah, it was done by Brad Bird. He was the director of The Incredibles. So one of my, I think one of, if not, I think what I had dubbed at least in the last show as or not my last, or not our last show, but when I was on Walt's apartment last week on Wednesday night, they were asking about your favorite Pixar movie. I think because
oh,
Sean, for some reason, if you're listening, Sean, does not like Wall-E for whatever reason, which I think is one of the most magical Pixar movies made. It's not my
I
favorite
see.
Pixar movie. Incredibles is definitely my favorite because it's a great superhero story.
It's a great
Very
one.
yeah. Oh, and you know what? It has somewhat of a similarity to Heroes of Extinction that we're doing for Adventurous Ideas, right? Because Heroes
Oh
of
yeah.
Extinction
Hmm.
talks about a superhero who turns 50 and he starts losing his powers. So he's starting to fade away and he needs to find somebody to replace him. So
Nice parallel.
the Incredibles, right? Superheroes, they do too much damage, even though they're saving lives. So they have to go into hiding. But then eventually the public needs them again, and they
Hmm.
come back. It's a little different, but I feel like it's kind of on a similar parallel there in one
Yeah,
way or another.
and a great message of a story. Hey,
Yeah.
before the show's out, I want to do something. I got some
Oh, we're
trivia
gonna
for.
go a little bit longer if you got time. It's okay.
Oh, okay, sounds good.
Yeah. This is too
For
this
the
is too
meantime,
fun.
a little trivia for people since we're talking about the magic of Disney. I'm gonna do a Disney quote and see if anybody can get it. Jason, I know you'll know it, but
Okay, we'll just put it up for we have enough people in the audience to get the answer, so
okay,
pay
here it
attention,
goes.
everyone.
All right. It's all so magical.
Okay, and what do you need them to do?
Guess what movie it came from?
Guess what movie it came from. Okay,
Yep. Do you know it, Jason?
of course I do.
Of course you do. Okay.
So if you guys know what that line is from, she actually did the character pretty damn well too. So if you
Oh,
know the
thank you.
movie it came from, please put it in the comments. But in the meantime, Mr. Jerry Cornell says, "Great narrator. You should do that for a living." Thanks, Jerry. I would if I. No, I'm not going to make that comment. Got paid. No, sorry. Yeah, no, I actually do have it as a side hustle. I do a lot of narration on the side, and in the middle of doing another Audible right now. That's going to
I
be
was
number
gonna say you're
3.
doing one right now.
Absolutely. I have been
Congratulations.
officially hired for it. So if you guys actually want to know more about the story, not the story that I'm reading, but the book that I am narrating right now, look it up on Amazon. It is, I don't think there's any other titles like this. It is available for sale. It is called How to Stop Acting Like a Stupid Monkey. Look it up. Trust me, you will not regret it.
It
There's no
sounds
audio
brilliant.
sample yet. Yeah. Leia and I were talking about it before the show, and it's actually a guide to a humorous guide to understanding our primal brains and tuning into empathy a little bit better. So it's definitely a good book so far. I'm on 3 chapters in, and you guys, if you have a chance to read it, it's pretty awesome. Let's see. Veronica's in the house. Hey, Veronica, how you doing? They
Oh, hi,
said in
Veronica.
Yeah, she says that they said in the interviews during Chris Evans' scene was improv. Wow. He came up with some of that himself. They did it in one day in a few takes. That
Wow.
blows my mind.
Oh my goodness.
He
The
must,
scene in the prison when they were being carried, is that
huh? She's
the
talking about the scene at the end of Deadpool when he does that
yeah.
rap, yeah, that like yeah. And he's like in the
Wow.
cage with Deadpool and Wolverine and they're being taken to, I forget what her name is, but she's Charles Xavier's sister.
Yep.
And she's the one that kind of rules the world that they're in, and wherever they get sent after they're zapped by
Like
the
the dunes.
yeah, something like that.
That is so impressive. That makes it even more like funny to me.
Oh, Signs of Amusement says you were on Walt's apartment. Yeah, I was. I am on Walt's apartment every now and then. I like to kind of, drop the family facade of Main Gate Magic and get a little bit cuckoo on Walt's apartment. So yeah, and I am friends with Joey as well. We have actually sang karaoke together. So keep an eye open, and I'm hoping you like what you see here too. I know we're not as open about our speech as they are on Walt's apartment, and we certainly try to keep things on the positive side here. But it's just different dynamics, different show. But I love going on their show. They have a great podcast all about Disney stuff and a great universe of different shows as well. Because it's not just Walt's apartment. I know they've got a few other stuff, and they're on Discord. So anyway, that's yeah. Watch for me. I think last Wednesday's episode is the one that I was on. If you want to go back and watch it on YouTube. Mr. Jerry Cornell says Heroes of Extinction's superhero story is better than The Incredibles. You are right, Jerry, 100%. It is going to blow people's socks off. It is such a great, great story, and I can't wait for people to listen to it. Now,
Yeah.
we're going to do a little side promotion here, folks. If you actually want to hear the very first episode of what I'm talking about and what is to come in the future episodes, the very first episode is available to watch, or excuse me, listen to for free on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and you do a search for the channel Adventurous Ideas, within the videos that are on that site, you can listen to the very first episode of Heroes of Extinction for free. There's going to be 6 more episodes to come sometime this year. I'm fingers crossed. I can't do it as good as I used to, but and it's a full cast of characters. One of the main characters, or I would say probably the main character, well, co-star, I would say maybe. Anyway, Mary Gibbs, we've actually had her on the show before, the voice of Boo from Monsters, Inc. And funny enough, this was like one of her premier voice acting jobs since Monsters, Inc. She had
That's
not
so
done
cool.
any voice acting since then, but she is amazing. She's so fun to listen to, and she fills the role of Janessa in that story very, very well. So if you guys get a chance to check it out, Adventurous Ideas, Heroes of Extinction, Episode 1 available for free, and lots more to come. And you can also check out more at adventurousIdeas.com.
It's
So,
great.
yeah,
Truly.
it is
Such
great.
a talented group of people
Oh,
involved.
and if you want to hear our very first story ever available for sale, it is called Dark Park Dark Arcade. And if you go to adventurousIdeas.com, you will actually see a link in our store where you can actually download the audio. You can get a behind the scenes audio footage, as well as I think downloads of the posters that we created, all the visuals and stuff like that, if you wanted to have a copy to print out or whatever, and
They're beautiful.
bring to a show that we're going to be at soon to have us autograph something. That would be something you could do. So, all right, back to your trivia question. Veronica got it right. It's not the movie, but it is. No. Actually, I'm sorry.
Oh,
That's
I'm
not
sorry,
right.
It's not.
I'm sorry, Veronica. I thought it was right at first, but it was not Ariel. Now I can understand
Very
how it might
close,
sound like Ariel.
Veronica. It
Very
is in the
close.
Renaissance era.
Right. And Veronica says, Joey, he's awesome. Yeah, he's such a cool dude. And Signs of Amusement says, going to have Joey on our channel soon. I'm definitely going to have to check you guys out because I have not seen you before, and I need to know more about you. I might need to collaborate and maybe have sort of like a cross-pollination of shows here. I'll be doing the same thing at the end of this month on Sunday, the... My gosh, it's coming up really soon. Sunday the 27th. Sunday the 27th, I'm going to be on a podcast called Kyber Caves. These guys actually make lightsabers, and they go to different conventions and sell their custom lightsabers to people and everything. NeoPixel and starter kits to begin with. Ones that you can really have super like bang the crap out of them, and not worry about them breaking or anything like that. And
high quality.
Yeah, and they have their own little podcast with special guests every once in a while. I think they already had a Dasa on the show about a month ago. This was before I think she went to South America to record for the with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, and she's going to be on our show in 2 weeks. So make sure you guys tune in for that because it's the last show that I'm going to be on before I go on vacation, and Leia and Thomas will be doing that show solo. So stay tuned for more. All right. Jerry says, thanks for the promo. The check's in the mail. All right. Awesome. Thanks, Jerry. And I hope you increased it by a few extra % from the last few that I've gotten from you. I think it was worth it. So Signs of Amusement says, definitely. Thank you. Yeah, we'll check each other out and figure out what we can do here. Odie says they will give you a saber, right? I thought about asking when I was there talking to them about it, but I've already got quite a collection myself. I've got several from Disneyland, and I've also got a custom one on my own. There's two of them. I have
No,
one here.
in your booth? That's amazing.
I've got 2 in the booth. I think these ones are the ones that I own. Lisa has, I think, a total of 5.
What? That's
Yeah, I
amazing.
know. You would never guess that my wife, Lisa
Oh,
Braden, has a
Lisa.
collection of 5 different lightsabers. Now, I think one of those is one that she inherited from her father. Unfortunately, when he passed away, he had one made when we went to Disneyland. I think the second time that we went to Disneyland with him,
Mm.
we or the first time, was that when he turned 70? I'll have to look back, but he did the whole experience of making the lightsaber, and every time that she's gone there and somebody else wants to build a lightsaber, she goes as the plus one and builds another lightsaber herself. So I
Oh,
think
that's amazing.
she's got a little bit of an addiction to lightsaber building. But speaking of things that make us happy at Disneyland, that is definitely an experience that y'all have to try, especially if you're a Star Wars fan. It is a religious experience. It's a lot of fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Let's see. You're having the Mormon Tabernacle. Veronica says, no, 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 no. I am not having the Mormon Tabernacle Choir on the show. That would be amazing. That would be a feat in itself. But no, Adasa was the one, and I'm sure that you're just joking, Veronica. I'm sorry. But just to be clear, Adasa went to South America to record with the Mormon Tabernacle Choir in this like gigantor stadium. She actually was sending me like text pictures of like the stadium they were recording in. She says it held like 15,000 people or some crazy amount like that.
Wow.
It's insane. And yes, Dad, I will be sure to share. So, alrighty. Any more cracks at the answer to Leia's scene that she did? It's all so magical. I'll even give you the next line. Yeah. That's the next line.
It's a shame Beep wasn't here to enjoy it.
Nah. He doesn't like flying. I practically am giving it away here.
Yeah,
But
like, okay, let's see if anybody gets it.
my dad says, I'll send you rocks. For those who are not aware, Mr. Odie Braden, and this is no secret because if you see him on Facebook, which is what he's watching from right now, he is a rock hound. He loves going places and collecting great looking rocks and making them into spheres and other polished shapes as well. It's a
Oh,
very
that's awesome,
cool
Odie.
craft. Yeah, he's really good at it too. And I think he even teaches, pardon me if I get this wrong, Dad, a lapidary class at the local museum or something, or a local school, I believe. Shame on me if I'm wrong, but you can correct me if you'd like. All right. So, last chance, everybody. What's the line from? Nada. Nothing. Really? Come on, you
Really?
guys. I know there's not as many people in the audience as there was before, but still, I figured
Hmm.
somebody would have gotten it by now.
What's another quote from that movie that wouldn't be too obvious?
Um.
Like,
Okay, I got one.
okay.
Well, it's not much, but it's got a great view.
Boy, the palace looks pretty incredible, huh?
Yeah, it's wonderful. No, I don't think anybody's going to put it in there. I mean, we could probably start quoting the rest of that scene, and they may still not
Oh
get it.
yeah, let's do it.
Oh gosh.
Sure, people who tell you where to go and how to dress.
It's better than scraping. It's better than here. You're always running from the guards and scraping for food.
You're not free to make your own choices.
You just feel so
Trapped.
trapped. My God, if you guys don't know this, I'm so ashamed
Oh,
of my
I mean, you just
audience.
don't deserve to be on this podcast. I just kick you out. Okay, I'm gonna give the most obvious one. Jafar, he's our man. If he can't do it, great.
Great. All right, Veronica got it. Thank you. It's Aladdin.
Way to go,
Good
Veronica.
job, Veronica. Yeah. Yeah, I wondered how much more we would have to do before it
And
was picked
I
up
will
on.
have the power to get rid of you.
Ah! Now that's another good one, is Iago.
Oh my God, that would be, you would be so good at Iago.
What was the line that he does about the crackers?
If I have to choke down one more.
One more of disgusting crackers! Wham! Whack!
Calm yourself, Iago.
That's a really good
Oh
one.
my
Yeah,
God.
lots of quotable lines from that. I think one of you are in my favorites. So,
Absolutely, it's so good.
all right, folks. Well, we're starting to unwind here a little bit, but
Time
fun
flew.
show. This was great. This was
Yeah, this is
awesome.
great.
I love talking about Disney magic and what makes us all happy when it comes to Disney, whether it's Disney, Pixar, Marvel, theme parks, songs, whatever. It doesn't matter.
Mm,
I think the overall theme that we've gotten from this is that there is something that somebody can get from Disney in general that brings a little bit of happiness to their lives. And
yeah.
I want to kind of depart with a little bit of a message, and I'm going to get a little real about this. Happiness and magic doesn't have to come from Disney, folks. It can come from anything. Find the magic in everyday life. Leia was tapping into this a little bit earlier as well, but don't wait for that magic to happen by waiting for a movie that's coming out or your favorite video game or, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, I can't wait to get home and see my TV show. Find a little bit of magic in everything that you do every day. This is what's going to kind of heal the world, I believe. And it's a
I
dream.
agree.
I know it's a dream. It's like an aspiration. It's a silly, whimsical thought, but other people might disagree. And I think that if you kind of just tap into that type of emotion and you find, like, even if it's just looking at an amazing flower that you saw on the sidewalk as you're walking home from work, or taking that first sip of coffee in the morning and you feel that wave of warmth that comes
Abundance.
over to you, that is magic. Find the little things, tap into that, and let it run with you for the rest of the day. Maybe it'll put another big smile on your face. Maybe it won't, but it couldn't hurt to try. It takes very little effort. So give it a shot,
Just hearing you say that made me smile, and that's literally what you
right?
said. It makes you
It's
smile. Yeah.
It's how I like to try to live my life. It's not always easy. Now, granted, if you want to know how to prevent yourself from not enjoying those magical moments and, being bothered by the people who make you furious, I recommend picking up the book, How to Stop Acting Like a Stupid Monkey, because that will actually kind of teach you a lot of those moments where we just kind of tap into our primal selves and just start raging against the silliest things in the world. And
Yeah.
and when you start kind of quelling that and looking at the little things and bringing the magic to life, that's when things start lightening up a little bit better. And I think it can be a cure all for those who know how to treat it the right way. So positive thought. I feel like a Jerry Springer moment here, like,
Mm.
take care of yourselves and each other, you know.
Jason, I just want to say, because you were talking about the book and just what you ended with, my favorite word, because of what it means, is sonder. And it's such a
Sonder.
beautiful
Okay.
word. What it means is the realization that every person that you come in contact with who has ever lived is living a life just as vast and as feeling and as complex as your own.
Yeah,
And it's pretty
absolutely.
much have empathy, have kindness. Like they're just as feeling and just as alive as you are. So
Oddly
it's the
enough, that book
kindness.
that I'm reading right now, I'm doing the Audible for, that is kind of what they teach, but just in more of a funny manner.
Yeah,
So it's that type of perspective that we kind of need to shift our focus on. I think that just makes it'll help make the world better. But
completely
we're not
agree.
quite there yet. We're not quite there yet.
Mhm.
Maybe when we do get to that point and we reach that part of elevation in our minds and that kindness, and start sharing more of it with others, maybe then the aliens will land. Who knows?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, we can do our part on a small scale. We can all do
There
our
you
part.
go.
Mhm.
Absolutely. All right. Hope you all enjoyed the show. I had a lot of fun today, Leia.
Me
Thanks for
too.
joining me and
You're welcome.
bringing everything to life, especially with your wonderful character voices, your stories, and just being you.
You
And
too,
thank
Jason.
you, thanks, and thank you all who joined today. It was great to see everybody pop your heads in. Hope you all enjoyed it. Next week, I believe I'm going to be doing an episode about Star Wars. I think that's what we're going to try to do, but we're going to do Star Wars OG, episodes 4, 5, and 6 only. There will not be any prequels. There will not be any sequels. 1, 2, and 3, 7, 8, and 9, off the script. It is
Get
only going to
out of
be A
here.
New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. So get your
The
lightsabers.
best part.
Come join us next Tuesday at 6 o'clock p.m. to talk about everything Star Wars episodes 4, 5, and 6. In the meantime, and here comes the spiel, folks. If you want to find out more about Main Gate Magic and some of our previous awesome episodes, you can find us on Facebook and YouTube. All of our prior episodes are recorded there, with the exception of Facebook, because I think now they only hold on to them for about a year. But if you go to YouTube, go to our live link. You'll see all the prior episodes there. And you can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, and on the audio programs if you just want to listen to it only in your car on the way to work, on your way home from work, or while going to get that cup of coffee that I was talking about earlier. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and also on podcast networks. Again, my name is Jason Braden. Thank you guys so much for listening. Had a wonderful time, and we will see you all next week. Take care of yourselves and each other. That's the closing line from Jerry Springer that I forgot.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good night.
Have a magical night.
See you later.